trying to and do a gotcha thing. Nobody did. None of the podcast interviews with politicians are gotcha interviews. That's not what a podcast is. A podcast is a conversation between two people. You watch my interview with J.D. Vance, you leave it going, oh, I know what he believes. I have a good idea of what he's putting forward as his beliefs, and that's going to guide and shape the things he does. But, you know, it's not an interview where you're trying to embarrass somebody or call them out. And that's not what Joe was trying to do with Kamala at all. He wanted to sit there and talk with her. Now, the problem is if you don't have any deeply held beliefs, that might come out over 2 hours on the Joe Rogan Experience. If you don't believe in anything except your own advancement, that might come out in 2 hours. There was a reason that her people told her not to do that interview. I don't know what that reason is, but I can imagine they said, we don't want you sitting there unscripted for 2 hours. We don't know what will happen. But nobody prevented her from doing it. This is her choice. That was the campaign's choice. In the same way that every comedian has a choice to do something online or not. You can do you don't have to do a podcast. Nobody's prevented. But I've never looked at comedians that disagree with me and say that they are less of a comic or that they are dangerous. Or Mark Maron had a show on Air America for many years. He had one of the most successful podcasts in the world and still does. I think he's a hilarious comedian. And I don't think because me and him would disagree on things that he's less of a comedian or less of a person or whatever. You know, I don't understand where that comes from. I don't understand where that comes from. And this idea of all these podcasts, they're right-wing, these podcasts. We came through a period of time where the prevailing wisdom in the comedy community was that people that didn't line up 100% with the ideology that was emanating at that, you know, from the universities or from the larger media institutions and from the entertainment business, if you did not line up with that ideology 100%, you paid a price for it. You paid a financial price and a social price for it. And a lot of the people that were unwilling to line up with that ideology had to be on the internet. There was no other choice. Many of them didn't get work. Many of them were prevented, or the things that they could do, they didn't have an interest in doing because they didn't want to feel that they were being controlled or stymied in any way. So they wanted to be on the internet. And I'm one of the people that wanted to be on the internet. I enjoy it and I have fun and I talk shit and I say what I want, and people can like it or not like it. It doesn't matter. But if you take away from this historic beating, this complete,
you're just gonna give me a free piece.
You know, stunning. I thought he would win, but not in the way that he won. Like, if your takeaway
I
here
had 312
is
on
that
the map.
somehow the rejection of everything